So, you know how I've been telling you that this whole podcast is about not parenting experts. It's about you and me. It's about fellow parents figuring things out together, suggesting topics to talk about, coming up with solutions as best we possibly can, just as regular people. You want proof of that? What parenting expert in the world would actually do a topic, do a show about teaching kids how to party and drink? I can't think of any, but I'm going to, and I'm just a dad. Hey, by the way, welcome to the Cool Dad Rules. My name is Bill Adams. Thanks for being here. Thanks, as always, for chiming in. In fact, I got some suggestions on this at thecooldadrules@gmail.com. That's the email address. Also, the Facebook page. Most importantly, finding the podcast and the YouTube channel and sharing that along and downloading the podcast, too, and telling other people about that. I really appreciate that. How did this all come to be? Well, I want to get this out of the way first. Please understand, I don't want to even broach this topic by encouraging your kids to drink or do drugs or to party or anything like that, or pushing anything on them. It's not what this is about. This is teaching them a life skill that I guarantee you, I personally guarantee you, at some point in their life will serve them in a social situation, even if they don't ever drink at all or do any kind of drug whatsoever, because that would be great, right? I hope my kids are in that same position. That'd be the best possible position, right? Best situation if they're teetotalers. I get it. But if they're not, and they're going to be in social situations, whether it's at school, regular life, dating, or in business, you sure see that a lot, they will encounter these kinds of situations where some kind of a party scene gets out of hand. And they got to need to know what to do, obviously, but for themselves and also for others. And that's where this is so key. And something somewhere is missing with taking care of other kids and taking care of other people. Is a serious, absolute, undeniable trend that's been happening over the next few years we'll get into here in a second here. Now, the personal story, how did this all come to be? Yes, like I said, your suggestions to thecooldadrules@gmail.com, but also in my own personal life, where it was just recently here, and my daughter FaceTimed us really early in the morning. It was like a 4 a.m. FaceTime call. You're always concerned about that, right? And you immediately go into, protective dad or mom mode, and you want to make sure that they're absolutely okay. And she was totally fine, which made me feel better right away. But she was freaked out because she had a boyfriend who was completely, totally messed up. Throwing up, crying, calling for mama. Had too much to drink, right? Had never had that much to drink before, and it got out of hand for him, right? She had never seen anybody that messed up before in her life. The friends, their other friends had never seen anybody that messed up before. They're pretty young kids. They're freshmen in college. They didn't know what to do. First and foremost, I can't even begin to express to you how proud I am as a dad that she reached out to us as parents to ask for advice on this. What do I do? What's the situation here? What's going on? I was incredibly happy about that. And just as a dad with some experience in that area, right? Say no more. Just wanted to tell her, stay calm, stay with him, make sure everybody stays with him, make sure his neck is not bent back like this when he passes out, make sure you can hydrate him as best you possibly can, keep him cool, clean things up, absolutely, all the standard things that you would tell your kids, right, all of that stuff, and that's what happened. I was glad that she knew what to do in that situation to watch over him, first and foremost, and all their friends did too, and they watched over him, he turned out to be completely fine, and a lesson learned. Side note, too, not completely upset about the fact that it's probably going to keep her from drinking for a while. Is that bad for me to say as a parent? Maybe. I don't know. Possibly. But it's so important. I was so proud of her for being able to do that. And the key was staying with him as a friend. Because something, somewhere, is missing. And I think I know where it is. And there have been so many horrifying stories in the news recently about whether it's hazing or just kids or just, really, really out-of-hand scenes that have been in the news where kids have gotten into trouble because they haven't had this lesson. I'm not talking about teaching your kids how to drink. Hey, if you want to get your kids, drunk at some point in time, I know parents that have done that too so that they keep their kids from drinking and give them a hangover so that they stay away from that. That's your choice, whatever. I'm not really talking about that, though. I'm talking about having the discussion and making them understand exactly how important this entire concept is. Because I have a question for you. If you think back to your own personal life, to your high school, maybe even pre-high school, college, early work days, social days, these days, whatever it is, Who's the person you can think of, or people, that when they got a little taste of freedom, just a little bit, went completely bananas and got the most messed up? I can think of exactly, you probably are too, the exact kind of person. It was the sheltered, overprotected kid that never even had this conversation pop up in their family. They never even knew what to do when they were encountered with that kind of situation, and they went kind of bananas because somebody in their family thought it was too taboo to bring up the subject of drinking or partying or whatever it was. Because I don't know where this concept came from. Where the hell did this come from, this idea that if we talk about partying with our kids, if we talk about drinking, they'll become drinkers. It's a gateway. I don't know. Where did that come from? We're talking about talking, and we're talking about sharing life skills, and you can't be afraid to share this along with the kids. Where did that whole idea come from? I don't know what happened. I think it goes part and parcel with this whole idea of over-sheltering our kids, and it's having a negative effect, and we've seen this in a lot of different areas, right? And we're certainly seeing it now. And here's the real scary part, and stay with me here, but I only bring up these examples because they've been in the news here recently, and there's something missing, like I said. There's something going on here. This is literally a 20-second Google search for some of this stuff for victims of, and these happen to be hazing examples in college. Jack Schoenig, 17, Penn State. He went into cardiac arrest in an off-campus home. People stepped around him. Just ignored him. How does that happen? How do you leave a buddy behind? I would never think to do that. How does that happen? Antonio Cialis, kid was found at the bottom of a gorge because nobody turned around and looked for him. They didn't even notice he was missing. How? Again, I ask how that happens. Could have been just an accident. Hey, maybe he wasn't even drinking. He might have slipped, but nobody looked for him? Are you kidding me? How about this one that's been in the news recently? Adam Oakes, freshman, Virginia Commonwealth. This was horrifying. Went to a party. He was, I think, rushing a fraternity. He was matched with a big brother. Passed out on the couch, face down. His face was purple when they found this poor kid. Good big brother. Yeah, way to watch out. Real responsible there. Again, people ignored him and watched over him. And I'm sorry for those examples. I know those are horrifying. I totally get it. But that's what we have to avoid here. There's something missing to even talk about this. There's something just totally different. I don't think you and I would leave somebody behind like that or let somebody get in that situation. I'm not opposed, let me get this out of the way too, to fraternities or partying whatsoever or the college life or a good time. I think it's an important part of social progress. I think it's how you become, a person. I think it's how you learn a lot of different lessons. I'm not opposed to that at all. Here's what I'm opposed to. Having these kids completely unexperienced going into this kind of a situation. Can't have it. At least have the talk about them, right? At least have the talk about it to them. And taking care of your buddies. Never leave anybody behind. You want a conversation starter? Remember I said I was going to talk about drinking skills? Again, not encouraging drinking, not sitting down, doing shots with your kid, whatever it is, but at least having this conversation. I will share with you the skills that I sent my kids off to as they reach their teenage years, because you're going to encounter this someday. I might get canceled for this. I don't know. I'll probably get in trouble anyway. I have no idea. But I will tell you, I'll give you my top 10. This is exactly what I shared with them. First of all, kind of off topic, but I put this as number one. Don't ever do narcotics, ever, under any circumstances. Just don't. End of story. Not explaining it anymore. Just don't. Then into the drinking stuff. Don't ever drink and drive. That should be obvious. Never get pressured into drinking or consuming anything. Say no. You always have the power to say that. Don't let anybody pressure you or bully you into anything in this situation. Eat before you drink. Don't drink on an empty stomach. I think we've all learned that, right? Most likely. 95% of the audience? I don't know. I know I have. Don't mix drinks. Remember that one? Beer before liquor, never sicker. Hydrate. Always take the water to sip ratio. Always have water with you. Cover your drink at a bar. I have daughters. I especially have hammered this one home. Cover it, which goes along with this one. Never accept a drink you didn't poured yourself from somebody. No. Stay safe with this stuff. Stay with a group. Always important, too, to have the buddy system. There's plenty of friends to be around. Don't go in alone. Don't do this, whether you're an adult or a kid. And how many times has this come up just in this last 10 minutes in our conversation today? Watch out for your friends and anybody else that needs help. Don't be afraid to reach out to somebody. Like I'll say again, I was so proud my daughter reached out to us and to me, and I was able to help her in that situation. It's all right there. All the answers you need. Right? Don't be afraid to talk about it. Don't think of it as encouraging drinking. Think of it as a life skill. All right. That's it for the Cool Dad Rules. Hopefully we all got something out of this, right? Don't forget to reach out to thecooldadrules@gmail.com. I'm always right there. Also, the podcast, download it wherever you get your podcast. Share it along, too. There's a Facebook page on there as well. Love to get your suggestions and your comments on there. And we'll figure this whole parenting thing out together. One by one. We'll figure it all out. My name is Bill Adams. Appreciate your time as always. We'll talk to you soon.